region for the new Strive patch. Already seeing shakeups. The top 8 is, we're going to tentatively say in progress because one match jumped the gun. We were going to give you guys all of top 6 because top 8 was ambitious given the timetable that King of Fighters puts upon all of us. So one top 8 match happened. It was Kenny's match.
Yep.
If you watch or are familiar with Boston-based Guilty Gear, you know Kenny is regularly in the top 3 on like a really bad day in placements. Kenny lost to Kazam on the Milia 3-1.
Yeah, so Kenny is the resident Gold Lewis player for those of you who watch, don't remember, whatever it is. And, you know, we've been talking about it off and on all the day. You know, Lennox, Dink, and I. You and I obviously talked off stream about the patch itself because I think that Boston as a region benefited quite large from the patch itself just based off of the characters that we generally see here. And Milia was not a character I remember a ton of pre-patch, but very much a winner, I feel, between specifically her changes and the system changes. I was talking to Kenny, actually, before his match with Kazam, and he was really hoping that the Leo player won, not Milia.
He didn't want to play the Milia.
Yeah,
Milia's another one of those, like, they gave her so many things, right? Like, the system mechanic changes are great. The change to jump Rose, treating it as a projectile, was super interesting. I know they tweaked her JD as well, right? I think they gave her the same JD change that Kai got. I have the patch notes here.
Yeah, I was going to say I have them up as well.
Yeah, we're both professionals. Consummate professionals. That's all Boston Blue Beat hires.
That's one word for us.
Yeah, I didn't make it up. JD, no, it launches on ground hit. It's not the same change that Kai's JD got.
Yeah.
But it is now a ground hit launcher.
And her projectile no longer disappears on hit, when she gets hit.
And the recovery is better, so it just leads to more. I think they nerfed her throw frame advantage, right? That was what happened to her throw? Ground throw, increased recovery, yeah. But a lot of these other spots, it just, in general, they made her Oki so much stronger.
Yeah, and that is not exactly a department she was deficient in, right? Like, she was obviously, like, an Oki, you know, beast, I want to say. But when you compare her to, like, the older titles and things like that, it obviously was a bit lacking.
Yeah.
But they obviously made some changes to her specifically. And, you know, that's just one character. Like, the whole patch, everybody got changes. You know, we were talking about Happy Chaos changes earlier in the stream. I was talking to Nelbomb about the Nago changes because Nelbomb is quitting Guilty Gear because he can't Beyblade for free.
Yeah, Nell really wanted to let it rip, and he can't. I read the Nago changes with a very hopeful demeanor because when I saw that they were tweaking 5S and 2S to change the startup based on blood level, I was like, oh, what a thoughtful nerf. You know, it's slower, and then when the blood goes up, it gets back to the regular version, or maybe like level 1. And it's like, oh, nope, they straight up buffed it. It's like, damn. But the Beyblade nerf is big. The 2H hitbox nerf is a big deal. And he's already a stagger-focused character that now with the incentive around counter-hit fishing with 5Ps, or Ps and Ks in general, makes a big difference.
He did get that new ground bounce, though.
He did. The damage off of 623H is
quite high.
Nothing to scoff at. I mean, I know it's a new patch because my timeline is full of people 100-0ing Chip with Nago. But the best part is it happens at round start with no meter.
Yeah.
And instead of necessarily killing him, he wall splats at like 3% life and then blood pops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, but finish the clip where you blood pop and then they just like kill you through the blood pop because they have a long combo.
Chip also received a lot of love. We have one Chip player. Well, technically we have two. I just can't remember the other one. I know Burkish is currently a full-time Chip player.
Really?
And I know we have one more who I can't remember offhand. But Chip did receive some love. Pretty much honestly, like, not knowing the patch notes and the characters through the whole roster very in-depth myself, I think everybody got some sort of love, even if they were nerfed. Right? Like, like you and I were talking about Potemkin players not exactly being super happy with their patch.
I don't care. Not a single. If a Potemkin player, like, I specifically tried to cultivate this feedback. When I said, why are Soul players crying? People slid in my messages like, hey, 5K 6S doesn't work anymore. I was like, oh, okay. I don't think that's enough to, like, kill the character.
Yeah.
But I get it. You've pointed to something. I said, Potemkin players, why are you upset about these changes? Crickets.
Yeah, I mean, we only have one in region, pretty much. There's DocBach, who was its CEO recently.
Yep.
Although I don't think they really, I think they were there for a different game. I don't remember. Like a different main game.
Sure.
But they placed fairly well here in Boston. We obviously pseudo have an Anji player in Wallaby.
Yeah, who is also, if anyone is allowed to be on life support about their character, and what I will say is, like, Anji changed in a less apparent way to fit his old game plan. What I liked is somebody put a reworked category on their sort of patch notes finding. That I liked. It was like buffed, slightly buffed, nerfed, slightly nerfed, the same, reworked. And they had Anji, and I think they put Jacko under reworked too, where they were like, their idea was basically like, enough of this changed that it's, it's hard to map one-to-one.
Yeah, I think that's tough for Jacko to be in that category. I think she's just straight up buffed and all.
No, I agree, but it was an interesting. It was an interesting take.
thought. Yeah.
They may have had Axel under there as well, because like Axel lost a couple of things, but he got a lot of things that made stuff a little bit different.
They literally changed one of his inputs.
That too. Yeah, they did that for someone else too.
Happy Chaos.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They changed his super from kicks to punches.
Yeah, that was I imagine that was to benefit from the special cancel into super change, right? Because they made the change so that you could overlap the inputs.
Yeah, that's possible. And then, actually, another character that we actually see a little bit here in Boston that we haven't touched on at all yet today is Giovanna, actually.
Yeah, well, I don't think Merkelo's here, and Merkelo's probably, when I think of Giovanna's around here, Merkelo's the one that I think of. And Giovanna's another one where I was a little bit intrigued at her changes, because they basically, it was before that, Spiral Arrow and Flip Kick both gave you plus frames.
Yeah.
Now, Spiral Arrow has more active frames, less recovery, and better frame advantage on block.
Yeah.
And Flip Kick is now no longer plus on block, but is a mix-up tool.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way to push it, because it was like, they definitely felt like, Flip Kick had a different application, because you could use it in the air.
Yeah.
So you had mix-ups built into it, but it was a little bit, they were at least like half the same hat.
Yeah. The change that caught my eye that probably isn't going to be that different in her gameplay was the tension changes, giving her more actual usefulness to having, above 50 tension. Because before, it was just you had like a slight damage and defense buff.
Yeah.
But now you actually get some
It's chip, right?
Yeah, you get chip, and there's one other thing, I believe. Let me... Oh, I went too far. I scrolled too far.
Yeah, we're going to need to pull up the Jacko changes even, because we got... unless this is a button check, because I do not see who is playing right now. Our winner side match, Mozz versus ShadowKlone is the other winner side match.
It is just chip damage. Added chip damage when over 50 tension. But, looking at this, Nago, obviously we've talked about some of their changes so far and how impactful we find them to believe. Jacko, her changes, I think, benefit her a lot. Her minions now go through projectiles, which I think is huge.
I do think this is a match. What? Yeah, this is bracket, so it is Mozz ShadowKlone. ShadowKlone on that new Jacko, and this is a matchup we already see able to get into the minion minigame much easier than historically.
Yeah, starting with a full minion bar obviously gives a huge benefit to being able to set the minions out there. Being able to use the defensive call, now adding counter damage as well.
Oof.
I don't think it'll be as impactful in this matchup, because, look at this damage! What is happening?
Oh, you're dead off 6H. We didn't even have to spend the bar. That was a spot where...
It was one touch.
Well, there were a lot of trades up until that point, and Nago and High Blood, it's hard to contend with on the ground. Ooh, look at that. That's like purely the buff, right? That minion came out at round start only because of this change, and it means that Jacko gets to immediately start playing her game. There's not this weird latency period before you're actually allowed to come online. Ooh, anti-airing with the minions even.
Yeah, and I do like that, minions are becoming more impactful just in general. Because, even though you saw them a lot beforehand, I don't feel like they were like her gimmick, for lack of a better word. They were just kind of there in addition to her regular gameplay.
Oh, okay, the minions are gone. I was going to say we're going to have to worry about chip damage. I like that ShadowKlone now just backing off, using the new JD.
Okay, yeah.
Really just kind of zoning
It
away.
should be the same mostly, but I could do it.
Yep. Nice little perfect coming out there. I mean, that's tough, right? Because, I mean, the round start, you have that minion, you keep throwing minions after that, and it is interesting to see the difference so far. But once you got that huge advantage, there wasn't really a whole lot for Nago to be able to get in. This, however, is a perfect Nago situation, right? Being able to sit with your opponent in the corner. Look at that minion damage, though. That's just one minion.
Yeah, the minion bar is back to full. We've still got 50 tension here, using the PRC to try to keep themselves safe on the whiffed sweep.
Oh, huge counter hit coming through. Nagoriyuki gonna be able to kill.
No.
Quite.
We didn't. I think there was something weird about the positioning there that prevented the wall splat from happening properly.
Yeah. Does clinch it up with the throw in the end. So nothing too lost.
Wheel, can I steal the mouse for 2 seconds just to minimize? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What if they needed that?
On our monitor? In this economy?
It's a mirrored monitor, Brad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, oops.
No, it's good.
Did you need those?
What did you need it for?
No,
We didn't need it.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah.
Oh, 5D!
Yeah, you should be good, though.
That, man, Nago does so much damage.
We're not checking these Fukio dashes. Oh, I had to spin the burst, but look at that. About 50% damage, maybe a little bit more. ShadowKlone, oh my god, look at how much blood ShadowKlone has. We're going to need to pop. Gold burst gets blocked.
Yeah, I mean, a pop would be quite... I don't know, would it be ideal in this situation?
No, you absolutely don't want to pop. So the thing is, now if you're ShadowKlone, you have to be incredibly mindful of command grab when something does get in. Exactly like that. How are you not mashing backdash in that context? You have to deal with all of this.
Yeah, and it's just never ending. There.
How much higher is that going to go? It's not going to matter. 2S works out. Lost that startup frame because we were in the higher tiers of blood, because apparently even Nago gets buffed. Daisuke's vision.
It has to be somebody's vision. I don't know if it's Daisuke specifically, but somebody is loving the samurai basically through the life of the game. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this patch plays out, because, you know, people were complaining about Happy Chaos and how strong they were. Oh, I love that. That is going to come out. It's going to do a ton of damage.
Minions coming straight out. Oh, we don't care. Beyblade through all of that.
And it killed the minion, too, which is obviously, you know, impressive. Again? You're dead. They cannot remove the Beyblade. Where's Nelbomb? Show him what you can do with this character.
I gotta tell him that you have to treat Beyblade how Karen players treated low medium kick.
Just throw it out?
No, just don't whiff.
Okay.
Except for Beyblade, it's don't block. Just do it when they start doing weird shit.
Oh, nice back throw. Sets up the corner pressure. Gets the vampiric touch as well.
I don't think a single command grab has been avoided here on the side of ShadowKlone. Mozz is really just running away with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think people really, not like forget about it, obviously, because it's such an integral part of the kit, but they just like are so worried about getting counter hit by one of these huge buttons.
Yeah, and it's easy. I know we've spent so long talking like take the throw is the meme now, but like once you're in tier 3 blood, the command grab from Nago is so specifically, it's not just the damage. It affords him this opportunity to go buck wild. Has to spend the burst to ShadowKlone. This is going to be the winner side life that will close it out.
The Fukio forward into the close slash, just, it's so much. And I mean, I was just looking at the Fukio changes just a second ago. On all versions of it, delayed the timing when blood gauge begins to increase, obviously huge. The latter half of the move can now be canceled into specials.
Yeah.
That's a huge W. And momentum now remains when canceling into other special moves, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? Because that means you can Fukio into Beyblade from very far away and catch people off guard.
Yeah, so in checking the bracket, this is another match that Kenny must be antsy, because this is another match that I thought we were going to get on stream, but Kenny, after dropping into losers, beat Zyvon 3-1. So ShadowKlone probably going to stay on to play against Coles. Or we'll see winners finals of Mozz and Kazam, which I imagine is going to stick to Nago versus Milia, and that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah,
you did great.
That one.
Proud of you.
will be interesting because obviously both
You're
characters
great.
are very strong at the moment. We've seen that in the past where Nago just absolutely explodes Milia when given the right hit.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, the lack of movement abilities in the past has been
Benny with the
frustrating
K.
for them, right? You know, not having a double jump, not having
What's
a
up?
traditional dash. You can, you know, find a Milia player that just runs all over the screen.
This fucking kid, bro.
And nowadays, whoa, man, language from the production team. Crazy.
Hot mics. Hot mics.
But yeah, I mean, now, you know, with those momentum changes that we were just talking about, Nago can fly around the screen a lot faster. The Milia.
Sure, but it costs a lot, right?
Yes.
And the thing is, the Milia changes all benefit. Like, one of Milia's problems, she had strong Oki, like you had said. The problem was she was a character in a game where lots of the top tiers were killing in 2, maybe 3 touches.
Yeah.
Milia needed to cycle more touches, and her kit was better at cycling back into continued offense, but what it meant was there were that many more opportunities for the opponent to meaningfully interact as the defender.
Yeah.
What they've done with the pinwheel changes, both the recovery of it and the fact that the pinwheel stays out on block, or stays out if you trade,
Yeah.
ultimately makes that Milia remains in control better when she's in that situation and cycling the offense more.
Yeah.
So she gets in that zone where she's running her offense and stays in it much better compared to before this season, which is a big deal as a character who still needs to cycle through more of those hits. The fact that she stays in the pocket easier is a big change.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in the Nago matchup that will be important
Yeah.
because obviously the reasons that Milia loses that matchup are still very prevalent, but that is not the matchup that we're going to be getting right now.
Nope, this will be ShadowKlone Cole versus Coles. Coles on the Ramlethal.
I honestly have not seen that much from Ram players on the timeline, personally.
It's been pretty quiet. I think I saw one thing, which is that they showed you can indeed get close slash off 623p mid-screen, which means she gets real combos. But the other thing I saw was Hotashi labbing whether
Oh
you
my
can
God.
6p the sword on reaction in the corner, and the answer is yes.
Yeah, it was a bit tight. You know, even Hotashi in that specific video
Oh, so
messed
you've
it
seen
up.
too.
Yeah, he did mess it up a couple times, but that is definitely something that once you put in the work in, obviously becomes an integral piece of the game plan. But right now, you don't need it when you're on the offense.
Yeah, really struggling to find their way out. Okay, finding the 6p does Coles.
Yeah, and then even starts to go with the record, but the nice burst coming out here from Jacko. Gonna be able to get a little bit of breathing room, but the instant super denies it.
No follow-up off the blue RC counter poke. We just dashed forward on the IAD. ShadowKlone got a little bit too antsy to set up a minion and lost out for it.
I mean, that happens sometimes, right? Like, the slight delay there can really cause you a headache, but the full Rekka coming out from Ram does enough. Oh, another great 6P to keep the corner pressure going.
And now here we start. Oh, it's an unfortunate forward throw. If it was back throw, he would have stolen the corner. So ShadowKlone,
Huge
full
dust.
charge 5D.
And no burst means this is going to go all the way through. We do have that combo in deck. And now look at this, the shimmy coming through as well. Is that going to be enough to kill? Red RC no longer has scaling. This should kill.
Yeah, I like managing to get the bar there is huge because burst had just come back. It was possible the Coles might have wanted to burst. I don't know that it would have been wise to because you were already still on the back foot, but always something to be mindful of.
Oh man, look at all this damage from the minions already. Ramlethal's getting annihilated.
She's got to respect the mobs.
Until you don't, when you just run up and hit them low.
YRC out from ShadowKlone. There's the tricky stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was going to be enough, but it didn't quite connect. But you definitely get to just sit back now, spam projectiles as the Jackal player, and it's enough.
Are you seeing the JD being special cancelable there? We were seeing like the fact that the projectile was coming out and covering the approach that the minion was coming out as well.
It's a wall of defense, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, how Cole is able to continue to navigate that space because they've been struggling. They have been having a tough go of it.
All right, we're just waiting. ShadowKlone demonstrating some patience here. The minion comes out. I don't know what you tried to do, Cole, but it was not blocked. That is going to be the wall break. We're going to get positive bonus. We've got the bar to toss another minion. Oh, we were fishing, but we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, and especially now, ShadowKlone's in a position that, you know, they can keep the offensive going like they are, or they can just fall back onto that wall of oppression by, going with that jump D into the minion throw.
Oof, good spacing. But we're not going to get the combo. Instead, we have to pack way off. Cole is playing so defensively, and it's not really working out. That's going to be the first round in game 2 here to ShadowKlone. And Cole is basically not playing the video game right now.
No, it is very much a one-sided game right now in favor of ShadowKlone. And
there we go.
But it's just bursted right back. We haven't seen a lot of pressure coming in, so as soon as even a hint of it comes through, ShadowKlone is very free to just burst out.
You know what's interesting here, too, is ShadowKlone is doing a good job of covering the minions, so Cole is trying to smack the minions when they're getting thrown with the 6P, and that's fine, except ShadowKlone is advancing behind the thrown minion and whiff punishing the 6P. It's going to happen again. See? Red RC forward dash, you still got smoked for it. That's going to be game 2.
Yeah, I mean, the Red RC attempt might have worked if ShadowKlone wasn't so aggressive, because you saw in slow motion the minion come out, 6P RC, and then in slow motion, the Rainless dash forward getting hit low by ShadowKlone there, and there just wasn't a whole lot to do.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, the Red RC fast cancel into another limb probably would have been the call there. Because at this point, it's abundantly clear ShadowKlone is advancing behind the minions and specifically challenging. Now, we are seeing the character swap here from Cole over to the Nago. Now, here's the thing. Round start position is going to be huge, but I think if ShadowKlone gets away from round start and is able to start running the game, I don't expect this round to go very differently.
No, I mean, obviously the first match of the day, this was a similar matchup, and it was very, Nago-sided, but with how Cole's been playing, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that same distance closure. Like, they are playing so defensively and letting ShadowKlone really run their own game plan.
If I had a nickel for every one of these 2Ds that hit right at the tip, the minions are out. What's the pressure going to be? Not really a lot of mix,
Look at
just
the
a
chip.
whole lot of lockdown. Look at the wrist gauge. You're actually dead. That did not need to do that much damage. That was pure risk gauge.
And it was probably a left third of the bar just gone to chip as well. Having 3 minions out, hitting you all at the same time.
You're about to blood pop. Oh, he didn't block the overhead.
Yeah, you're definitely dead.
That's the only thing Nago has when he blood pops in that context.
That might just be a knowledge check.
It's you're either getting 2K'd or instant overheaded. That's it. And 2K is not even, I mean, I guess 2D.
Oh, the
What
crouch.
does he get off 2K?
Yeah, the crouch under the vampire touch there is going to allow ShadowKlone to run a bit of offense now. And now, do we get the tension? There it is. It's used, but there's only 1 minion left. And now it's gone.
Nice neutral jump. That was really greedy from Cole to try to cheat out another command grab. But these Beyblades do everything. That's an important burst to steal the corner position. The minion is out. There's the blood pop. Yeah, you just wait.
The PRC from down below as well. The mask comes back on, but now Chip being a very real concern on both sides, actually.
Oh, such a smart up back. That's what I was going to say. I was like, you just hold FD and block until the special cancels stop.
Yeah.
Because once Cole started going nutty there, it was like, all right, you're either going until they die, or you're trying to cheat a command grab.
Yeah.
You're not going to get
or
it.
even a regular grab. Like, anything would have killed at that point.
Well, because the command grab was the only thing that was going to preserve you. But yeah, I guess a regular grab would have done it. Here you can see it there. And the fact that you could see even there, Coles was so mindful of, like, the special cancel's gone, it's going to be a throw. That's all that's left.
Yeah. So, nice little up back, like you were saying, Brad. And, I mean, ShadowKlone was very dominant in that particular matchup, both between the Ramlethal and the Nago, I thought. The Nago round where they won was just like the Nago buffs coming through, where you're able to do a bajillion damage and get a wall splat before you pop. But, I mean, the fact that you were able to get that overhead right after the pop was, potentially, like you said, one of 2 options that you just kind of lost out on.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you guess wrong in the 50-50, like, sometimes it happens. But I continue to be surprised at how often that happens, because I feel like it's always what Nagos do in that situation. No one wants to just tap low in that spot. But that does bring us out to the top 4. Kenny and ShadowKlone down in the loser semis, and Mozz and Kazam up in winners finals. Kazam taking it over local favorite Kenny. Everyone's favorite 2P hitter.
That said, Kenny's demon is out here in Mozz.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Kenny normally I feel like we see them play in the winner's side, and then we have to adapt from there. For Kenny to possibly come into that matchup down a set already for their first interaction is going to be troublesome.
I am very curious to see how the rest of this bracket goes because, you know, if you took it like, you know, top tier privilege the whole way through, Kenny beats ShadowKlone, Mozz beats Kazam, but then Kenny Kazam already happens with Kazam taking it over Kenny.
Right.
So then we get the Mozz Kazam run back in grand finals.
Yeah. A lot of this is really going to matter. A lot of how this story emerges, I imagine, is going to be between Mozz and Kazam. I really am curious to see how the Millia Nago matchup now plays out.
Which that's actually going to be our matchup on stream right now is Mozz versus Kazam. I completely forgot about the faultless defense macro they added in. I just saw it here on the button check, and I completely forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't consider that change that substantial. That's just a quality of life change. But I'm glad that they're still considering some of these, you know, minor quality of life things just to make everybody's lives a little easier. This macro availability that's happening in here, like the game is so balanced around the dash macro at this point too.
Yeah.
Like it's so clear that the dash macro was an integral part of it. It really should be part of like every default binding. The fact that I fought, like prevented myself from using it for so long because I just didn't feel like there was a spot on my stick that
it's a cheat box thing.
I was like, I can still dash. I don't need it. I'm like, nah,
and then
I
you're
need
like,
it.
wait a minute.
No, I need it.
No, maybe I do need this.
SpongeBob with the water. I need it.
Yeah, but I mean, like this patch, honestly, with the exception of the Nago changes, not to sound like a hater, I think is very successful. And I mean, even the Nago changes, I think will take a minute to really, you know, settle in. And I mean, it's day one, day two.
Yeah,
really.
It's gonna take time. I think maybe the only character that I don't fully like understand the changes. I mean, maybe Baiken, but I also haven't seen enough Baiken to really feel confident judging out the changes. The Anji changes are like they make sense, but they also don't because I feel like I'm surprised that they de-emphasized the low and overemphasized the overhead. It would not have been what I had expected out of the changes, and I feel like I need to see that get explored more. And the Eno changes. Heavy stroke going from being the way you cycle back into pressure to now specifically being like a thing you counter hit fish for and is negative on block, and re-emphasizing note and chemical love
and air movement.
And air movement, yeah, because with the variable air dash arcs is all. They're not the changes that I would have expected for Eno in any way.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see how those eventually play out. I imagine CEO will be a big, you know, true test for a lot of characters.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how that works. I am very curious if they fix that May bug that we were talking about on the drive-in by CEO, because that could be pretty impactful if it becomes widespread. I forget who tweeted it out, but I'm sure it's all over Twitter by now. But yeah, here we do have Kazam versus Mozz. So it's that Millia Nago matchup that we were talking quite in depth just a couple minutes ago. And I mean, look at how little damage Millia does, and wait for this one connection to come in from Nago, and just look at the difference.
But like, they've empowered Millia in such interesting ways. Good just defend, just backdashing off the Beyblade because you don't have to worry about it anymore. The fact that it resets back to neutral makes the fact that Millia has this fantastic movement that much more emphatic.
Oh, the counter hit!
Is this going to be enough to kill? This is fairly minimal scaling with the wall splat. No, it will not be enough to kill, but with positive bonus, what's it going to be? Cross up. Oh!
Tried to command dash back down to the ground, but was still caught out by Nagoriyuki. And all that work, all the damage she was able to put in is basically neutralized.
Oh,
and she's dead.
No.
How? Why? Why is this a thing?
Yeah, I mean, Kazam just made a couple of bad calls and then crumbled on defense after all of that, and that's like the same thing, right?
Wow.
She needs so many hits. Great backdash. You get the close slash starter right into the pinwheel.
I mean, it doesn't really help that Nago is kind of a tanky character as well, especially once that guts comes into play.
Yeah.
But I mean, even still, we get the throw. Tries to set up with the projectile, but back against the wall. This is really tough defense to break. Does get a great counter hit on the Beyblade out of the corner. Oh, gets the same side projectile hit as well. This is going to hurt. Will it be enough to kill? No!
That's another change. I think they made the Bad Moon walls break more consistently. Let me double check.
I was going to say, I can pull it up right now. We're both like, what are the patch notes? But look at this. It's, the pop is going to save them for just a second longer.
Blue RC meets Blue RC. The double jump, you still get smoked by the 2H. The 2S connects. Which version of 2S do you have once you blood pop? Is it the tier 3 blood 2S? Or is it back to the tier 1 blood 2S?
I believe it would be tier 3. Yeah, I think I just heard Dink say that from the other side of the wall. But, I mean, it is tough to watch if you're a Amelia fan. You know, having all of this work being put in just to have it fall apart at the end.
Oh, we're using a lot of Swiss cheese coming out from Amelia. Wow, I thought they nerfed that 2H. That should absolutely not have connected at that range.
So PRC trying to get some distance forward, sets up the projectile, does catch him down low. That is a good something to have, and it's just Amelia trying her damnedest to get anything on the board right now.
Jesus. Absolutely sticking to him, managing to make our way out of the corner. With that, that's still not going to kill.
Wow.
Am I going to see a repeat again? Are we watching a rerun?
I mean,
Mash?
yeah, 2 bars of blood as well. Anything could do it.
Okay, Chip. Mozz wasn't FDing.
I mean, Mozz has a pretty decent lead and can pretty much always feel confident in their comeback potential. So the Bad Moon change was that the last hit launches them vertically higher with less horizontal blowback. Not that it matters much when you're throwing them into the wall with it.
Blue RC backdrift, but Kazam just gets the hell out of there using the rose.
Nice.
We find the anti-air. Perfect.
Yeah, I actually really like that. You know, did the double jump up and then tried to the command dash back down, but hit the rose before actually connecting to the ground. It's a very similar situation to that comeback in game 1 where the command dash down and immediately got hit, except this time they were able to get the rose out in time.
Oh, wow. Mozz fishing with the Beyblade. Air-to-airs from Kazam, keeping the air approach a little bit slowed down. I'm sorry, Mozz. You have to sit on the ground. The strength of the Beyblade nerf again.
Oh, no punish.
Beyblade on block. Kazam takes a turn.
Oh, definitely going to be able to punish that. Beyblade, though.
Ooh! The 2H nerf that time. Anti-air close slash.
What was Mozz hitting there? It was definitely an animation. But interesting, dusts the wall instead of using any of the tension. They had 100 tension.
Yeah, PRC, some cheeky stuff. We've got the bar, let's spend it. That far slash got buffed too. Really helps contend on her ground game. Are we gonna have enough to kill?
Yes.
Are we gonna get to the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's gonna pop.
The Bad Moon breakage. Oh, and that time you are going to get the anti-air hit, and that is blocked.
If that's blocked, that's bad.
You're dead.
Oh, we had the second bar.
Okay. And then get this the back throw. All right.
And the fast RC cancel. I'm surprised they did the fast RC change they did, where if you fast RC, it uses less tension.
It also depends on how quick you are with the fast RC as well. Yeah. The minimum amount you save is 4%, but you can save as much as up to 28%. And that feels like a lot.
Good backdash. Oh, I wonder if that's guaranteed, because that would mean that you never have to engage. Beyblade into that DP was the thing that I was worried was going to be the check, but if you can backdash guaranteed, then you never need to engage with that, and Beyblade will effectively always let you reset to neutral.
I'll be curious to see. That's definitely something we could lab out later. Wow, the TK Bad Moon into the red RC. Lots of damage going to be able to come out here. Probably the wall break as well. No,
they didn't have enough wall splat because enough of the combo happened away from the wall. Pressure looking really strong.
Yeah, Nago trapped in the corner. Huge counter hit there. Definitely going through the wall this time. Even going to use the super for that bonus Oki on the other side. God bless you, Brad. Oh,
empty throw gets teched. PRC finally the 6P. Mozz so clutch. Had damage to spare.
This is actually a fun match to watch up because everything that we were thinking about happening is happening.
Yeah, no, it's interesting when you can read the patch notes and draw implications of what it's going to do to the game, and it's like what it looks like, at least on day one, right? Milia is just doing a better job at staying in that offense, but Nago will always be able to delete you on just a couple of hits.
Yeah.
We're still in tier 0 blood here. Nice check. So many of these Fukios are getting checked.
Yeah, nice counter hit with the super after the RC. Trying to get aggressive with it now too, right? You want to get as much pressure going forward. The backdash in the air to the connection. Stays on the same side.
Backdash? Dead. 2 games to 1 for Kazam.
That was sick.
Kazam using Milia's movement spectacularly.
Yeah, I mean that.
And the Beyblade change effectively makes Nago's lack of mobility a bigger deal. Because Beyblade was a great way for Nago to really just zip around the screen. Now you have to use Fukio more, and you can see the difference this makes because Kazam is getting so much mileage out of checking Fukio.
Yeah, and that's probably a big thing that people were looking forward to was some sort of change there. And I mean, people want a Beyblade just be outright deleted, basically, if you listen to the people from Twitter. But having a meaningful change like this is great for the game. And I mean, you are going to get this wall break here. Huge advantage coming in here for Kazam.
Oh, wow, even gets away with a command dash of their own.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen kind of stymied a couple times now from Mozz, where they were able to tech in time. That time, with the addition of the command dash, I don't think they were quite ready for it.
Oh, the Rose saving the approach, adding all these extra layers to this approach. There's the Rose again.
Oh
Stop trying to anti-air. I have the Rose. Are you going to get kissed by this Rose?
I do like this additional change because before we saw a lot of times where Milias were ending up in the danger zone, and now there's not even a consideration of that happening. Kazam is so aggressive with the Milia, always
Dash
pressing
in,
forward.
throw, fast PRC. We don't have the bar for the kill. That wall splat is impotent, but we're still sitting pretty. The only damage right now is the chip. Gold burst for a little bit of extra bar.
Oh, you're dead.
Wow. Kazam played that so well. Checking the forward movement from Mozz so thoroughly, in part because of the de-emphasis of Beyblade. Beyblade less of a threat. Nago has to use different ways to get in, and we're probably going to see it on the replay here, assuming that it goes far enough. But the fact that we've had the gold burst after this, and then look at, has to go for the Fukio, which is getting checked constantly. Even at full screen, it's like, it's going to be Fukio. Stuck out 2D into slide. Red RC behind it because we had the meter from the gold burst. It's just Nago has to change the way they approach. There's more of an emphasis, especially in higher tiers of blood, on those slash limbs, and we're really going to need to see Nago's change to playing more grounded until they get to the point of being able to generate threat off of 2S.
Yeah, and I mean, so speaking of Kazam specifically, I was watching their match with Kenny earlier. They were using the slide a lot. Like, that was a very big portion of their game plan. This matchup, though, they almost really didn't use it that much. They used it right at the end there, and it worked out successfully against Fukio.
I want to interject real quick and let you guys know 2 things. 1, Mozz's controller broke yesterday, so he couldn't play on the new patch. And 2, I asked him if he knows any of the new stuff. I told him, he's like, I'm not going to do any of the new stuff this patch.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys were saying all that commentary. I didn't want to butt in till the end.
But you know what? That's even crazier is that he still made it to winners finals, basically untouched, and does have a very serious chance to make it right back to grand finals. Because our next matchup here is going to be Kenny versus ShadowKlone, which is an interesting one in and of itself because, ShadowKlone obviously running the Jacko, and then we have Kenny running the Gold Lewis. So, I mean, this is not a matchup that we've seen a lot. He clicked Happy Chaos, I think, which is a Kenny character. He was playing it pre-patch.
Yeah, I can understand not wanting to play Happy Chaos, not wanting to play Gold Lewis into this. It's been, even the little bits of it that we've seen from ShadowKlone is the fact that the minions come out so quick makes it that much more oppressive. And with Gold Lewis being a little bit bulkier of a character, you really want to get in. I mean, they gave you 6S. It's either 6S or 6H, the command normal now that carries momentum and can be canceled into Behemoth Typhoon. So you can get your game started from farther out, but especially watching how ShadowKlone's been playing today,
So I will also say that Kenny's Happy Chaos in the past has not looked great.
No, it was I wouldn't call it happy. That wouldn't
No.
be. There's a little bit of joy, I guess, but that's about it. Immediately back to full screen.
But I mean, this is the thing though, is Kenny's played majority of this zoning Happy Chaos, which has received quite a significant nerf, this patch.
Is that
dash?
blocked or no?
It is blocked, but is it punished? No.
Oh, the clone keeps him alive. We get the offensive burst from ShadowKlone. Oh no, the 6P actually makes this perfect for Kenny. All that work to corner him, and suddenly you're in the corner now. You have to deal with this pressure, and this is the thing that they did emphasize for Happy Chaos, turning at the ready stance into a little bit more of a pressure tool.
Huge dust.
Yeah,
Nice
we're.
burst.
You know what? I like that ShadowKlone even just committed and was like, I'm either going to take the damage or I'm going to take your burst.
Yeah. And then even to be able to follow it up here with the super connecting, this is a very bad spot for Kenny, and it is able to be closed out there from ShadowKlone, which is a bit of a comeback because it was looking kind of doom and gloom there when they were backwards against the wall.
Yeah, I think the difficulty is despite the fact that you have access to the minion this early, it's not like you engage with the gunshot in the way you engage with other projectiles.
Yeah.
So it's far less free in this matchup for Jacko to get the minions out. So what happens is ShadowKlone needs to play without minions until they get into range 0 and start, and then they can bring the minions out, at which point they can pressure the ever-loving hell out of Happy Chaos. Nice. Catching him through the curse application. Now curse goes away if you hit him through it.
Yep.
There was an overhead in there, I think, that I did not see.
Yeah, we're going to get this super coming out as well. This minion never
Look
ending.
at that chip.
Look at the risk gauge. It was bright red until just that second when the connection came through. And look at this. You're going to be able to build it right back up. In fact, that is not going to kill, but the chip will do it.
Wow, so both of those rounds starting off on the back foot. But yeah, once ShadowKlone was able to weather the storm, find the opportunity when Happy Chaos is lower on resources, which is a bigger deal now. It happens more often. It's easier to engage with Happy Chaos's resources with the change now.
Yeah, and you can even see Kenny trying to adjust to the changes. They're using the concentration much earlier in the sequence and things like that. I mean, look at how fast that bar went down.
Yeah.
And you're even forced to
You only get 3 or 4 shots before you need to delay your stuff and get it back.
Yeah, and this was, the big issue that they were trying to deal with. But now, when you're in their feast like that, you basically keep all of your concentration bar. You can do whatever you want. The trade there. But look at Kenny's bullets. He's down to 2 shots.
Yeah, I think ShadowKlone got a little bit too itchy on the trigger finger to try to make this round happen. Every time ShadowKlone got in range, they're efficient and kept trading. And those trades don't work out. You really need that clean shot.
Yeah.
Now curse is on. You got to hold that. Dash now.
One thing I will say is that Kenny, so far, since the last time I saw Happy Chaos, he's being much more conscious of the fact that he has to reload.
Yeah.
Last time I was watching Kenny's Happy Chaos, he just burned through all of his shots and then was having to find him a space to reload that just didn't exist. And just like this, he's not going to get a reload in here. He has to hold this pressure.
Pressure's insane. Finding the counter hit. I don't know why Kenny swung. You just need to wait. I guess ShadowKlone dashed forward. Maybe Kenny tried to tech a throw.
Yeah. Or was even just feeling antsy with it. Wow.
Yeah, ShadowKlone's real problem here is ShadowKlone is finding the right spots to advance. I don't think ShadowKlone feels comfortable on where and when in that sequence to transitioning from advance to attack. And so what's happening is Kenny is finding that spot when ShadowKlone does more than like a micro dash.
Yeah.
And Kenny's sticking out a 2S and clipping ShadowKlone for trying to get eager.
Yeah, I mean, both these players are trying to run a one-player game, and when they're successful, it's great for them, and when they're not successful, it's great for their opponent.
Yeah.
But we have seen a couple adjustments come through. I mean, Kenny is playing quite smart here. Is still going with the zoning gameplay. It seems that it might still... I don't know if I'm going to call this work, but it is still a potential for at least a small portion of the round.
I mean, the reality is it's still there. I think the thing is, zoning is ordinarily a game plan that frustrates and then opens up other things. The fact that Happy Chaos could deal as much damage, particularly on block as he did with so little interaction for so long, pre this patch, felt like an outlier in terms of the relative strength of pure zoners.
Yeah. Especially when you compared it to a character, other characters in the game, it was quite strong. But no, I am excited to watch Happy Chaos players adjust potentially to the mixed game that's available to them, that's always been available to them. Because, it is a very strong mix between roll through and instant overheads with the gunshot and things like that. But
see, this is the thing that ShadowKlone is fishing for, is when that curse needs to be reapplied, ShadowKlone is trying to really press the issue there. And when he's finding it, those rounds he wins.
Yeah, and right there, the things that he was able to find successfully is Kenny has been consistently headbutting the minion as it comes in.
Yeah.
And so that time, ShadowKlone threw the minion, the headbutt connected with the minion, and then ShadowKlone was able to slide in, get a huge counter hit, and then that led into the super combo.
Which is the same thing that ShadowKlone was doing to beat Cole in their previous round in the loser side as well, where, Cole was exactly the same, 6P'ing the minions to try to keep them off the board, but ShadowKlone is right behind to protect the minions.
Yeah. And so now that it is 2-1, we are going to see the character swap from Kenny going right back to Gold Lewis, which is the main character. This has been their main for as long as they've been here. It has been their strongest character that they've just dominated the scene with, minus 1 or 2 players.
Which is Mozz, really.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And Mozz is the 1. And Kenny, right now, down 2-1, may not even get to play against Mozz today in the first BostonBlueBeat tournament post 2.0 Strive.
The ranges that he's playing Gold Lewis at right now, though, is so good. The burst, trying to buy it up. Nice little gunshot coming in through here. PRC trying to keep the pressure going.
Oh, what tier of drone was that? That was tier 3, I think.
No, I think it's tier 1. Or tier 2, I mean.
Yeah. The drone got so many changes for Gold Lewis. Wow.
Yeah.
Once ShadowKlone did get in, Kenny got absolutely... Oh, no!
Kenny didn't believe in a punish, though. That very well could have done it. Does clutch up in the end. I even think I heard somebody yell no from the crowd when there was no punish on that. But this 6P, Kenny didn't use it a whole ton pre-patch, already recognizing how strong of a tool it is. And here we get did he crank it? Did he crank it, Brad? He goes to the sky, doesn't even need it. It immediately breaks the wall and the perfect comes through and Kenny ties it up 2-2.
ShadowKlone mashed that button to go back in. I think it may have been worth taking a second to think about that. The 6P. So here's the thing. Because of the range that Gold Lewis plays at and the way his Behemoth Typhoon works, we're seeing is Kenny is 6P'ing the minion and then immediately buffering into a Behemoth Typhoon and blowing up ShadowKlone for trying to cover the minion behind it.
Yeah. And even right there, when the range was so far, you still got the Behemoth Typhoon because on the off chance that the dash forward comes through. But look at this, counter hit coming in, huge damage. That's another dead Jacko. This character does so much damage. I love it.
Hitting you with the full might of the U.S. military. Him and Guile are going to meet for drinks. You just know it. Are we going to get crossover characters in Street Fighter 6? They're the only company that hasn't done guest characters yet.
I'm going to go with probably not. I think they have enough in their catalog.
Oh, what an anti-air.
YRC
from ShadowKlone. Oh, is that going to connect?
That hits.
No, it doesn't. What? It blows up the minion, but I guess the minion drop recovers much faster than we would think.
Yeah, I thought it was still mid-animation, but the counter hit comes through. The 6P wasn't in time. This is still doable for Kenny, though.
Yeah, you see ShadowKlone transitioning back, and I like that ShadowKlone is willing to do this. When the turn ends and they have the life lead, they'll rest on that JD and just back off and try to aggressively cover space in front of them, not overextend.
Wow.
Uh-oh, the Sky Laser.
Goes with the jump dust as well, gets the overhead. Behemoth Typhoon still just does so much chip damage, even through the FP.
Oh no!
That's still alive.
The drone comes out. What's it going to be? We block the low Behemoth Typhoon. We're blocking so much. ShadowKlone, it dies to nearly anything right now. Having to FT through all this pressure, even on chip, that's so bad. ShadowKlone is going to have a really hard time making this happen, and they're not going to be able to. Clipped by the anti-air functioning Behemoth Typhoon. Last game, last round, but Kenny clutches it out.
Gold Lewis is a monster this patch. Like, even before this match, Gold Lewis was a very strong character in certain situations. Not going to call him straight up strong, but, I mean, the character / Kenny was so dominant in region, and, we're going to keep saying that because it's still true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that does earn Kenny, a run back against their bracket demon in Mozz, and...
But in losers finals.
It is losers
So
finals.
rare for this matchup. So rare for this player matchup. It's so commonly we see them meeting on the winner's side, like we said earlier.
Yeah, whether it's winners finals specifically, actually.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes. So, I mean, Kazam, man, Kazam coming out here, showing the strength of the new Milia.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that, we're getting the production secret that Mozz is literally playing the new patch for the first time today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it is. And then Kenny trying to make something happen with the Happy Chaos, which was nerfed for Kenny's playstyle at least.
Yeah.
Just to go back to the Gold List. But I think this will be a decent tell for at least these two players, because I think this would potentially be one of the first times Kenny would have beaten Mozz in bracket if they actually make that happen.
Right, and it feels kind of bad for that to happen in a context where it's like, oh, we haven't played the game. It's like, all right, well, everyone's had the access to the patch at the same amount of time. I'm assuming you read the patch notes. Everyone's been telling you the new stuff, like don't be Beyblading.
Doesn't seem to matter to Mozz, though. They're still Beyblading out. And, I mean, they're still doing a lot of damage. And
late on the 6H.
Yeah. I will say that it's not just Mozz's Nago that gives Kenny's problem. Kenny traditionally has struggled against pretty much all the Nagoriyukis here in Boston.
I mean, in general. We've had conversations with him about the struggle he has. He's like, I literally can't do anything at round start. I start off on the back foot.
Yeah. I mean, that was old patch, though. I mean, look at that wrist gauge, Brad. It is so bright red. Now it's even flashing.
This gauge of mine is burning red.
Oh!
There's the 2H nerf again. You can see that Mozz isn't fully comfortable with it. And I imagine most Nagos are still acclimating to it. It's a big change.
Now they're just trading wrist gauge, but that's not dead. Any hit will do it from any side.
The 2H off of Fukio. Kenny tried to check the command dash, but did not work, did not pick the right option. I mean, as strong as Kenny has been at mashing punches, we're not seeing much of it coming out so far, and that is one of the changes. Is those counter hit punchlets. There we go.
There it is. They will come out eventually.
That's a big change. Like the idea of, hitting your punches and buffering counter hit confirms after it is something that's going to be really new for people. It's going to take a while to acclimate.
Yep. Oh, still punished here. The laser comes through, but you took a lot of damage.
That was an aggressive gold burst. That was the gold burst there was kind of nutty, and then was immediately ready to capitalize after with all of those resources available to him. Pre-patch Mozz beating the post-patch Kenny in the first game of this losers final set.
That was kind of crazy to get that low early on in the round. And I mean, Kenny's character has what it takes to win the matchup, I feel. But, I mean, it is just, a combination of Nago still being a very strong character. Great burst punish there. Another 2H into the corner.
Yep, still alive, doesn't spin the bar. Beyblade into something. No, just 6-2-3. We have the BRC coming out from Kenny to keep stuff going. Air-to-air interaction meets the PRC. Double Fukio into regular throw. Mozz with another round on the board.
Yeah, I think the Fukio change where it does delay the blood gain, I think is indirectly helping Mozz, because they are still Fukioing a lot.
I mean, what it really does is the fact that the blood gauge happens later gives you more time after Fukio to use your normals and earn some of that blood back. It changes a little bit of the way the blood economy works.
Yep, red RC into the super. There's no scaling, so that probably kills.
Yeah, no, this absolutely kills. A quick 2 games here for Mozz.
Yeah, this Gold Lewis isn't working. And it's tough because Nago was a tough matchup before. And even if Mozz isn't, fully acclimated to the changes, the buffs is enough that the same game plan seems to be working. And it's also Kenny hasn't had a punish for a Beyblade yet.
Yeah.
Like, still being able to get that off for free when it was technically nerfed is probably a big portion of what's going on here.
Clipped him low. We got some damage.
Get the wall break. Not enough for the super, though. Means that just a pixel
But
remains.
anything kills, even on chip. Oh, what a smart Fukio back. Dodges the Hungry Behemoth Typhoon, but there's the patented Kenny 2P mash. DP round start, great check on the Fukio, immediately costs Mozz's burst.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the difference between the matchup that Mozz lost and this one is the Fukio checks. If Kenny can get a hold of that and start 2P'ing it consistently, that automatically changes how this game works.
Yeah. That's the big adjustment, and look how quick this game went. We saw the Fukio check, it immediately cost that burst, and Kenny swings the whole game off of the back of those drastically different interactions.
Up back, trying to dodge out the Fukio Beyblade interaction. But once we get to this corner, it does seem to be a bit of a struggle for Kenny to navigate their way out.
Right, the drone comes out, drone keeps him safe.
That was a level 3 drone as well. The counter coming through. Nice dodge on the command grab there.
Ooh, burst, we just don't want to deal with the pressure anymore. Advancing in behind the drone, slowly pushing back. Even this damage on chip, burst comes out now from Mozz. The 2P check after Beyblade.
Kenny making sure to use this drone a lot more. It was buffed. It is significant that you put this out more often, making sure that it's at least level 2, maybe even level 3. Mozz holding back on the Beyblade, but that blood meter is quite high.
Yeah, but all of these 5Hs added, and the 2H, that's the difficulty, right? Kenny basically needs to go to the air in order to try to make their way forward through all this stuff. And it's just, that 2H is still strong. Just because the hitbox on the ground isn't as good doesn't mean it's not still a great anti-air.
Yeah, it's also tough that Gold Lewis is such a big character as well.
Also true.
But it also hurts not having a double jump, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, this boy needs to lay off the Texas barbecue.
I don't think anybody needs to lay off Texas barbecue, Brad.
No, in fact, I wish Gold Lewis would share some with me. We got the red RC forward drift, keeping this combo going. It's great damage. Now we got the pressure from the drone. You got to hold these Behemoth Typhoons. Burst is back on the table for Mozz. This is tournament stock here for Kenny. Oh no! Fished with the 6H, I think that was, and it's going to cost out for it. I like the attempt. Kenny tried to develop a little bit, but it is not gonna work. Mozz with 3-1 over Kenny and going on to play Kazam again.
Yeah, we have the replay on screen, and I am actually fairly curious what the game plan was there, because you see the backhand, and then its swings come through, but
well, so
it must have been a read, right?
Had it connected, we would have been able to cancel that into Behemoth Typhoon, which would have started up Kenny's game, right?
So it might have killed, actually.
So the call there was, it was like, if he advances forward, if it's Beyblade, if it's Fukio, maybe I catch the startup of a limb, like 2S or 5H or something, with where I stuck it out. Those were the calls, right?
Yeah.
But, just nothing came of it. Even on block, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
It's just, you only lose out on whiff.
And it whiffed. Sometimes that's just how it is. Not much you can really do about that. It was interesting that it was like the first time I think I've ever seen Kenny hit that button. But
well, if it's, I believe that is, and I'm gonna double check the patch notes, but I believe that is, yeah, I think that's the 6. I imagine that's the 6H. I think you're right. I very rarely, if ever, see that button, but they added more momentum and special cancels to 6H, so I feel like that may have been it. But we are going to be transitioning over here to the grand finals, Kazam versus Mozz. Kazam in the winner's side on that new Milia once again.
It was 3-1 the first time?
It was 3-1 in the winner's side set, yes.
So, I mean, we'll have to see if, Mozz has a bit more of a read on it as he eyeballs the camera there. But, no, I mean, Kazam's shown a very strong presence on the Milia, and very quickly seems to be adjusting to the amount of aggressive pressure you can put out as the character with the new patch. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Mozz has a read on that new 2H so far and is able to adjust that into the game plan.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate to be coming into this version of the game not warm on the Nago changes. And like hindsight being what it is, that's
I mean,
pretty apparent.
if your controller breaks, there's nothing you can do about it, unless you just have spare controllers. Like if my hitbox broke,
Does
I'd be
Mozz play?
SOL.
Hold on.
No, he plays
Mozz
pad.
plays pad.
Yeah.
Just get it. Go to GameStop.
Go to Target, Walmart, whatever. Which is, I'm sure that's what they did, and that's why they have a controller today. But
That's our privilege is showing.
sure, yeah, it is.
Because we play cheater boxes and they never break. Grand finals, Kazam off to a strong start. Ooh, just barely navigating underneath the pinwheel rows, but the up back on the greedy command grab off rip.
Yeah. But that's a great read coming in from Kazam to allow them to start their pressure. Even now, the pin needle has been working a lot for them. Oh, they get an early slide into the burst punish as well. That's a lot with the wall break.
Milia looking kind of sick this patch.
I saw her earlier and I was like, man, I should learn Milia. This
Right?
looks fun to do. There's so many buttons you get to press.
Right, look at that pumped wrist gauge though. Went to fish with the 5H. You know what's another thing Kazam is getting a lot of? Kazam gets so much run-in regular throw.
Oh, the pop actually saves Kazam. You can even see Mozz shaking his head in the camera.
Once you pop, the fun will stop. The fun is over once you pop.
Nago is not Pringles, you're right.
Pinwheel pressure starts. We get the cross up. Are we gonna get the side switch? No,
Yes.
we fish for the side switch after. Kazam seems pretty comfortable just letting these mix-ups cycle mid-screen.
Yeah, and there's no real reason not to, right? Like, yeah, the wall break does get you, positive bonus and, everything else that goes along with it. But why bother if you can just continue doing left-rights in the middle of the screen and have it work out for you?
Oh, still alive? Double shimmy.
Why didn't that break the wall? I could have missed something, but I feel like that should have broken the wall.
I don't know. All I know is that Milia looking super, super strong right now. Part of it, too, is like the 5S change makes her regular ground game so much stronger. And the increased impact of the fact that kick normals are dash cancelable means that her 5K has more threat behind it. So
Yeah.
between far slash and 5K, and the close slash buff, I guess. Did she get the close slash frame data change? A lot of people's close slashes got
Close standing S is reduced recovery and change
on
the
hit.
on-hit effect of the second hit.
So reduce recovery, it's better plus on block. That was a pretty universal change, but all in all, it just means that like her pressure's better, but also her ground game just outside of that is better.
RC to try and chase down the Fukio. Even goes for the PRC for the mix potential, but you're just going to keep pressing buttons and you're going to keep taking damage.
Neutral jump, really wanting to play around Beyblade specifically.
And I mean, what better character to do that with, right? Milia with the double air jump. The only other character in the game with that right now is Chip, so why not? Let it rip.
Wall break, gonna cash out the bar. We'll get positive bonus, it's worth it.
We'll get Oki as well.
What's it gonna be? No bar there on the side
Oh
of
my
Mozz to do
God.
anything about it, so you can hold this. Where is the burst gonna be? You need to bring it out. You're gonna die in this round. We died
That would have
with
been
burst.
it. That would have been the only time to use it, and I think it's a fairly safe spot for Kazam if you do decide to try it.
Yeah, I mean, Kazam Red seeing there was specifically, it's like, you have to be ready for the burst. 2 games up pretty quickly. Fukio into DP, has to spin the burst early. This time does Kazam,
Oh,
but
wow.
a big counter hit jump-in starter.
What was nice about that is the air button was actually quicker than the projectile. So when you were trying to move forward, you get hit by the air normal, and then get spun up by the projectile.
Oh, what a smart backdash. So I don't know if that backdash was aiming for the regular throw. I think the fear was that Mozz was going to command grab, and that backdash there was super intelligent. Oh, the air-to-air!
It's such a long button there, and it's so successful. Even blocks the 2H.
And the Fukio check once again. We get the follow-up off the super pinwheel. Kazam on set point, not going to drop a set through this entire tournament, not going to drop a game
Absolutely
in grand
feeling
finals. Is Mozz going to have an answer? Burst on deck again, but Mozz has been so hesitant to burst.
Yeah, this is an absolute speed run right now. Even going to block the Beyblade, and that's what you were talking about on the right here, Brad. It's -4 and throw is 3 frames. It's the best defensive option in the game.
Right, we get the wall break here as Mozz, but we're still not in that great a spot. We wait a little bit. We want to get that tension back. There's the tech.
Oh, wow.
Gold Burst gets blocked. That's so unfortunate. Mozz.
And then the double overhead.
Next hit is it for Kazam. The throw is going to do it. Kazam snapping his fingers, closing out Grand Finals 3-0 over Mozz. New Milia.
Was there even enough time to grab an instant replay, Dink? I'm not sure. Oh, apparently there was, because it's on screen right now. But this is just that last final round here, and I love this, because you get the throw tech, and then you get the pinwheel into the command dash. The gold burst is blocked, and then you get a double overhead left-right, back and forth, and then it's just a little bit more.
And
TK Bad Moon into the throw.
And with the okie doke, there was so much dash in, dash out, dash back in, so much okie doke.
So much movement, just in general.
Yeah.
And I mean, Milia, like, you know, past Milia, you were potentially in a danger zone of, you know, using too many back dashes, too many backwards moving moves that would be problematic. None of that here today. Always forward, always pressing a button, always doing something offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the strength of the character, we're in a new patch. Hopefully Mozz acclimates.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. It is tough that it is day 2, and even losing one day of practice can be tough.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Especially when so many changes come through. Even if you were practicing yesterday, imagine if you just didn't play against Amelia yesterday. Like, at all. It might not have even mattered to then have to come in today and play against Kazam like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Dink, let's throw the beach episode graphic up on the screen.
Why don't we do that? Boston Bluebeat Beach episode is the next premier event coming at you from Boston BlueBeat. That is coming at you on July 16th of this year, 2022, here at the venue we are in right now, Balance Patch in Boston, Massachusetts. That is Saturday, July 16th, featuring all of your favorite anime titles. Historically, Dragon Ball FighterZ, BBCF, P4, Ultimax, Melty Bloods, old and new, Guilty Gear Plus R, Exert, Strive is there. It is not on the graphic. DNF Duel, one of the first major premier regional events for DNF Duel. I threw a lot of adjectives at you. The point is it's gonna be hype. They are suggesting that people come through on the Friday for the weekly before. This is not a multi-day event, but we're all going to be here Friday the night before.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, they're literally going to go to the beach. So it will be a full beach episode, complete with people recapping what happened in the season up until then.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be July 15th would be the Friday that we host the weekly here at Balance Patch. The Saturday event, which is obviously the beach episode, again, July 16th, Saturday, Balance Patch, Boston. It is a great venue. Very accessible, very easy to get in and out of, personally, in my opinion. We will have players from most of New England coming through.
Yeah, and someone murmured to me that some New York players, at least for Dragon Ball, might be coming through. So that'll be dope. I'm excited for that one. There's also Boston BlueBeat is going to be hitting you with their regular online monthly is coming at you next weekend. That is, I believe it was it Plus R next Saturday and CF next Sunday, or is it inverted? Oh, there we are. I had it right. It is Plus R next Saturday, June 18th, and BlazBlue CF on June 19th, the Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, both times. Keep it locked and loaded to the Twitch channel if you would like to be a viewer, or hey, if you want to participate in these online brackets, make sure you're following on Twitter so you can see all of the sign-up links, all of the pertinent information. It's all kept in one central location. Frankly, if you're watching here, you should be following Boston BlueBeat so that you are always up to date on everything that's going on. And there is still time. You could have shown some love to the Matcherino, which we did not shill enough.
No, yeah, we definitely did not shill the Matcherino for Guilty Gear Strive enough, if at all. We do also have a couple other ones there as well.
You know what else we have? We have a whole nother tournament to come at you today, because we are we're getting the hook. They're pulling us off the mic. I hear the Grammy acceptance music song is playing. We are going to be swapping over for the BlazBlue, I assume top 8-ish. They're sitting down. Huh? Top 4. Cool. There's going to be some BlazBlue is the ultimate point. They're here. Show some love to KOF for keeping a long bracket, but hey, we got to show everything. Everything is here.
Except Dragon Ball.
We're not going to hog the mic anymore.
I might
Y'all can sit down. Y'all can sit down. We're getting the hooks.
I'm going to hog the mic a little longer. We've been Brad Muse and the Doctor. Thank you for tuning in.
Time
here
for a real fighting game.